Tuesday Night Live here at the Sooner Surge. Thanks for joining us for the nightly 9:30 live show, a show in which you, the fans, can call in to talk to us, the fans, and we can chat it up about Sooner sports in a great way, and also roll the comments. We don't care if you give a super. We're going to show your comments because that's what we do here at the Sooner Surge. It's not about anything else. It's about getting your viewpoints and our viewpoints out there and having a conversation each and every night together here at the Sooner Surge. What's up, Jay?
What's going on? A lot of stuff today.
Oh, flipping flopping is what's going on.
What?
The flipping flopping world is what's going on.
Well, a lot of people today. Yeah, we're live, Okie. We are live. The Dan Mullen stuff. Somebody says, "Is it a smoke screen?" Hey, we're going to talk as fans. That's what we do, and I'll tell you my thoughts on the whole. Why are you shaking your head at me?
I'm just okay.
Well, I don't get why you're shaking your head at me. I was talking and you're shaking your head at me.
Go ahead, Jay, and then I'm going to do a rant. I got to do an early rant.
Guys, all I'll say is this. I don't know if Dan Mullen's out or not, guys. I'm not in the know.
Exactly.
I don't care what people say. You know why? Because whatever is said today may be different tomorrow. So what Brent Venables said today, first off, about OU and the fact that they talked to him last year, I don't know if I believe that. First off. Second off, if last year, let me just say this, if that's true and they talked to Dan Mullen last year, right, Jerm? You're telling me they went and talked to Dan Mullen to be OC last year and said, it didn't work out. Let's hire Seth. No other people were interviewed? You went Mullen and then you went to Seth Luttrell? Does that make any sense? We asked Mullen to be the OC. He turned it down, so we said, next best guy, Seth Luttrell.
Hey, I've got a few thoughts on the whole deal. I think it's hilarious how all of a sudden people are like, Arbuckle, it's Arbuckle, it's Arbuckle. Mullen's out, it's Arbuckle. Mullen's out, Mullen's out. I'm not going to believe anyone's out of this thing, okay? I don't care what any person says. I got my own viewpoints on it. Second of all, people got on here and ripped me saying, I've lowered my standards. I think a lot of people here have lowered their standards. I'm seeing things about Mateer's this Heisman Trophy type. He was a 3-star out of high school, okay? He's playing wherever, Washington State. We're talking about, look, do I want Mullen over Arbuckle? Yes. Could Arbuckle be the next great offensive mind? Yes, he could be. But let's hold our horses here. He was a quality control guy at Houston Baptist. He was a quality control analyst at Western Kentucky. He coached high school at Seminole, and then he lands the OC quarterback job at Washington State. He's been there over a year. And OU fans are losing their mind saying, this is the guy. I have a little bit of a problem with that.
Here's what I'll say.
People telling me I'm lowering my standards when everyone's like Arbuckle's the next great. And he might be, but come on, guys. I
like Arbuckle a lot. Okay.
I know you do.
I like Mullen better. I've always said that. Mullen's my guy. Out of the guys that people have mentioned, Craddock, Arbuckle, I'd take Arbuckle over Craddock. Also,
who's done more, Jay?
I don't care who's done more. I like Arbuckle over Craddock, okay? That's my opinion. You can have your own opinion. I don't care. I think we're both in the thing that we both think Mullen's the guy we would want. That's just us. But I do, guys, the whole Mullen stuff, when it's over, it's over. I'm not ready to say that's a done deal. So I know a lot of people have moved on. The same people that cried yesterday about Michael Fasusi going to Texas now have all of a sudden changed their mind because Steve Wilfong said he thinks he's going to stay at OU. Here's what I would say. Maybe people need to just start not worrying about it, because it's like whatever one person says, they go towards. Then he says something else. Oh, I saw something on Twitter today. I about lost my ever-loving mind. And it was somebody yesterday on Twitter said, bye-bye, Fasusi. He's gone. The same guy on Twitter today said, relax, everybody. Relax.
That's what a lot of people are doing on here, Jay.
You're the one saying bye-bye, gone, and you're telling everybody to relax? How about you know what? Steve Wilfong's been wrong before, and he's been right before. And people have been, it's a 17 or 18-year-old kid. Nobody knows what he's going to do, okay? It's just the way it is. I don't know what, I mean. And
Eric,
by the way,
Eric, I care about who the OC is. It's football. It's the team that I'm following, so I do care who it is. Speaking of idiotic, I saw Joey Galloway's take on Indiana. Absolute idiotic.
What did he say?
He said if he's Indiana, he's not playing their starter against Ohio State, starting quarterback, Rourke.
Oh, because then they could use that as a crutch.
If he gets hurt, they're not going to make the playoff. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Hey, and I did see the comment from BB on that. And let me see. He's just going to
name who we've lost. Hey, name recruits that we've lost, Jay. Can you name any?
They haven't lost any yet.
Okay, so stop talking about it, Danny.
And I think
stop talking about it, Danny.
Jen's 1,000% correct here. Stop worrying about things. That's right. You can't control it. Why do people lose their minds? And here's another thing that bothers me. Well, I'm not going down this road right now. I'm not
do it, Jay.
No, I'll do it later. I'm too frustrated. I'm not going to do it right now. I don't want to call. I'm not doing it right now. Okay.
Eric,
Jay. Who have they lost? Eric, who have they lost?
Yeah, Eric, drop it in the chat. Name player commits that they've lost.
He's talking about earlier on. Yes.
Oh, I thought he was talking about recently.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought too. He's right about that.
Hey, has other big time programs lost anyone, Jay?
A lot of people are losing people. That's normal.
It's kind of the nature of the beast of the NIL world right now.
It is. That's the two they've lost. You're correct, Hunter. Hunter dropped them in there. That's right, Aaron. Nobody's committed until they sign. I hate the early commitment. I hate it. Why commit? Why commit? I don't understand the point in committing. I don't.
Yeah.
And here's another one. Jason says, if the rumors of portaling happens, we're on a massive downslope. It's rebuilt. Here's the deal, Jason. There might be 20 guys go to the portal. You know what? Apparently, with most people in this chat, that'd be 20 guys that could go get that are better, because most of you guys think OU sucks talent-wise.
Hey, so, Danny.
I don't know why they're worried.
Danny, Andrew Anthony, I don't know if he's ever going to be right. Nick Anderson.
That wouldn't shock me at all. Those two would not shock me.
Nick Anderson would, because his brother's at OU and working.
That wouldn't. If Nick Anderson leaves, wouldn't shock me one bit. It wouldn't shock me.
Hey, who are your sources, Danny? Curious.
I don't care who. It doesn't matter, Germ. Golly, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Well, John said it too, Jay. So I'm just curious.
I'll say it again.
It's funny how people say they have sources, but they won't ever. It's just hilarious to me.
Jeremy, I'll say it again. It's 2024. I don't care if you're the best player on the team. If you portal, I would not be surprised. That's the way it is these days.
The portal world.
Who thought Will Howard was transferring last year from K-State? Nobody.
Who thought Caleb Downs was leaving Bama, Jay?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter, Germ. People are going to leave. Go get better players. If they leave, go get somebody better.
Yeah, you can't go get mid. And I'm just worried that an Arbuckle is going to be equivalent to like Bauer Sharp, where you get a guy from a small school program and they don't pan out. Same with Mateer. Now, I will say maybe 5 stars haven't, because they haven't yet. Maybe 3 stars are better.
Here's the thing. This is an interesting comment, Benjamin. There's a lot of Bama fans that are worried about this game. I'm serious. I've seen it all over the place. They're like, this is a
sure why.
Trap game. I don't know why either, but that's what a lot of them are saying. I agree with Benjamin on this. I think it's because probably the last time they played OU.
Jay, I'm curious.
Well, not the last time, but time before.
What changed between yesterday and today for people to say Mullins automatically out?
There's rumors going around. I don't like to address rumors on here. So, but here's what I would say. If Mullen is not hired by Sunday, he's not coming.
I would agree with that.
If he's not hired by this weekend, he's not coming. So that's all I would say. I'll leave it at that. That's my final thing on the Mullen thing. I'm not saying it's done that he's not. I'm just saying if it's not done by Sunday, I don't think he comes.
I can get behind that, Jay.
And there's Bobby dropping a rumor that's been out there, which I don't believe rumors all per se. And here's what I'll say to that. Let me just say this. If your number one guy is Dan Mullen and you let him walk, I find that pretty bad.
Agreed.
And the reason I'm saying that is if it's a guy you truly believe in and you truly want as your OC in a year where Brent Venables has to turn it around and you let him leave, who's that on?
BVJ, maybe even higher up.
Joe C. I mean, it could be on a lot of people. I'm just saying, you got to figure out if he's the guy you want, you go all in. We just said 3 nights ago, they're getting him all the things at his resource that he wants. Well, if that's the guy you want, or maybe they don't want Mullinger, maybe they want Arbuckle instead.
And Jay, they might. I'm just saying, don't let me people saying that I lowered my standard and then people are getting all giddy about a guy who's coached for 1 year.
And there's the link right there. Link to call in if you'd like to call in.
Hey, and I'm kind of just tired of the OU is not it anymore and all the comments saying just shut down the program. Just stop it. I'm going to still talk about OU. I don't care whether they're it or not.
That's what we're here to do.
They're having an abysmal season.
We're here to talk about OU. And Jen, this very much, and this is what I said the other night. This is what I said the other night.
Yeah.
Wait, about what Jen said about he wants to be a head coach. If he wants to truly be a head coach, he doesn't need to take an OC job. So I wouldn't expect him to come if he's wanting to truly be a head coach. I don't think he needs it.
And Jay, the fact of the matter is people can act like they know what's going on, but they don't. I just was real about the program. I said it's been an abysmal season.
Sooners thinks has a chance to beat Bama.
It's been an abysmal season, Eric. I don't know how that's not realistic about the program. Look up the word abysmal. Tell me I'm wrong.
I will give it to Beamer this year. But I will say there were a lot of people before this year wanted him gone. People said it's not going to work out.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they're playing well and people are all giddy about Beamer now.
Yeah. So this is Oklahoma and still it. Can we just focus on softball? Yep, Yonner says. Gen Z sees OU as a softball school now. Let's just embrace it. Well, they are a softball school. They win championships, but
women's basketball school.
Football is still a storied program. So,
yeah, Xavier Robinson looks like he's gonna for sure be playing.
Okie Long guy says the program has lowered its standards. It seems.
So have the fans in here who are all giddy about Arbuckle, including you, Jay.
Jeremy, out of the guys listed, I said Arbuckle. That's who I like best. I can have my opinion.
He's coached 1 year of football.
I can have my opinions, Jeremy. I'm working with my own opinions. So just like everybody in this chat can have their own opinion.
To me, that's a little bit lowering of standards.
Let's get to John. John's on the line. What's up, John?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing all right.
So, good. So with the Fasusi talk, it kind of brings me back to what to do with Biedenbaugh because, I keep hearing these, you keep hearing this, well, it was because of the injuries and the lack of talent. And I don't think that's the alibi that everybody thinks it is for him because, as the offensive line position group, you're basically the single point of failure on the worst offense in Sooner history. And okay, so if you're going to just accept that as the excuse, injuries and lack of talent, think about what you're saying. You're basically saying, okay, unless you have 4 stars or better across the board, too deep, this is the result you're going to get. I don't. That's not. That's not going to be acceptable going forward. If you're saying this is what you're going to have every time you got to rebuild.
Well, so what's the answer then? You're saying what you're saying. And correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying you're not going to always have 4 or 5 stars, correct?
Exactly.
And they got to win with guys that aren't 4 or 5 stars. And what's funny is I can agree to that to some extent. And people are on here saying, oh, we got to get Mateer. Get Arbuckle, he'll bring in Mateer. Well, he's a 3-star guy.
Right.
And everyone's giddy about him.
Yeah, but I don't think that, like, the performance this year has been so bad that I don't think you can just explain it away with lack of talent and injuries. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think if they asked Bill Beadenbaugh and said, hey, tell us the truth. What's the number one reason the offensive line has not played well?
They missed in the portal, I think, is the reason.
Well, I think a lot of it
Right.
he would say scheme.
But Jay, that kind of goes back to my point there. If we're saying that we have to recruit lights out to have a better performance on the offensive line than this, he's not that good of a recruiter. Because that's basically
Well,
saying you got to have,
well,
you got to
you're
have.
right, John. He missed for 2 years. The guys that are playing now, like Howland and Ozida, I actually think they're getting better. They're just too young and they've never played. The guys they went in to fill the gap with were out of the portal, and they missed on almost every one of them.
Right. So
I agree with the caller though, Jay, because I think scheme is a bigger issue. They don't even know what they're running half the year.
Well, I do. I've said that for a while. I think the offensive, just the unit itself with what they're running it's not meshing at all. Whatever they're trying to do,
right.
They have no leader on the offense, no leader on coaching.
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't accept the excuse. I've seen Kansas State teams like Kansas State and other teams do great with TCU do great with 2 and 3 stars on the offensive line. I'm just saying for all those saying, oh, it's just a down year. Like I said, you're talking about basically the single point of failure on the worst offense ever. There's no skill position that would have moved the needle that much with this offensive line for this offense.
True.
So if this
true.
is going to be the result because you're a little down or you don't have the talent, I got news. I got some bad news. That's going to be the case every 3 to 5 years. So I don't think that that's the alibi for him. That's actually the worst.
It's not an alibi. I don't think he's done a very good job coaching this year.
No.
And even last year, I don't think it was his best. So I think the last 2 years have been a little to be desired.
Yeah, I just think I will say this. I do think it's a problem that's going to take care of itself because if the new OC has carte blanche and he just basically is able to bring in who he wants or keep who he wants. If he says BB's the guy, I'm good with it. If he says he's not, I'm good with that too. But I'm just saying that I keep hearing this, injuries, lack of talent, and that's not an excuse for this bad of a performance. It's just not.
I agree with you, John. I agree with you.
So
hey, thanks for the call, John.
Good first call, John. Hey, before we get to Eric real quick, appreciate the comment from Cheap T-Bird and that he's been a member 10 months. Bobby, I want to know what you're meaning by I think they've been pretty transparent. They're saying 6 have been interviewed. Like, who's saying this? Is it the same?
Whoa. Who is saying there's no validity? I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but it's also the same people I think that said Mullen was the guy. It's like it's been wishy-washy. That's all I'm saying. And then one other thing before we get to Eric, someone had a comment in here I had to get to. I'm gonna. It was Ron. Ron said Arbuckle was at Western Kentucky, but I think 2 of those years he was a quality control guy. He wasn't even coaching.
Yeah, and
let's get to Eric.
Hey, thanks, Chief, for the comment. Appreciate it, bud. And let's get to Eric.
What's up, Eric?
You there?
Is Eric there?
Hello, Eric. Yours?
We got Eric on the line or not?
Maybe I'll try back. Hey, let me answer the question that Michael asked me. Jay, what do you like about Arbuckle? Okay. I'll tell you why do you like Arbuckle? Here's what I'll say. And it's not even as much about the offense as it is this. If you go look at a lot of coaches that climb the ranks as fast as he has right now, that can't be a negative. That there's a reason why he started volunteering as a coach and has already made it to an OC. Okay. There's a reason for that. Not everybody does that, Germ. There's a reason. Here's my negative. And Sooner Freak, you're dropped in here. Here's my holdup on Arbuckle. You ready for it? Go watch. I watched games tonight. When I hear more people talk about it, I went and watched some highlights and some game film. They seem to struggle more in the second half, which is a little concerning after halftime with adjustments. Hey, I haven't watched every game, so don't quote me on Arbuckle. But I do like Arbuckle. Hey, we got
what do you mean late for our own podcast? We're not. Jay, Arbuckle. So someone drop it in there, Hunter can. I thought he was quality control one year, and then he was quarterback coach.
Hey, we got Eric back on the line. I think Eric's
What's up,
here.
Eric?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I'm just going to change this up. I know you guys want to talk about Mullen and belt buckle, but I think realistically, I think you guys are a little bit delusional about the state of the program. I think this
I'm
is
not
more than
delusional. I know
just.
right where the program's
No, no,
at.
no. I
It's
think
not
it's
very
more
good
than
right
just
now.
a. I know, but I think you think it's just a 1 year thing, and
No.
it's injuries and it's the offensive line. When I start thinking about it, I was reflecting a little bit about this year. I think this is a bigger problem. I think OU has been pretending like they're one of the big boys for multiple years, even stretching back into Lincoln Riley. When I looked and I watched the games, obviously, so I know that offensively, Oklahoma was elite under Lincoln Riley, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was looking top three offense, number 1 year. What's he doing at USC right now? Did he forget how to coach offense? He's not really doing that well. Even the offense, they're not even. I think I saw they were like top 50 or something like
Yeah,
that,
they're
or
not
number.
doing that great.
They're
The
not
Big
doing
12
great.
was
guy.
a facade. Big 12 was a facade. I would agree with
Lincoln's
that.
that
Right.
guy.
No, he still is that guy. But the point is that I think Oklahoma has just been masking for years now, and now moving into the SEC, they're 100% getting exposed. Now teams like South Carolina, teams like uh, Tennessee look to have superior talent top to bottom, and we don't even look like we belong on the same field with them realistically. This the problem, like you guys are saying, like the wide receivers are injured and stuff. I don't think half the wide receivers could even play for Georgia or Alabama or
Come on.
Tennessee. Like I'm dead serious. I'm dead
Jaden,
serious. You got Jaden Gibson. Come on, you keep going off of that 1 year when he
that's all I
caught.
can base it on.
All right, it's not sufficient. It's not
Hey,
enough. You don't have
Eric,
enough
let me
data.
ask you this, Eric. You say OU doesn't belong on the same field with Tennessee and South Carolina, right?
Yep.
They don't look like they have the same talent, right? The
Yes.
fact of the matter is, in those two games, there were 5 or 6 basically turnovers that went the other way to the
Part
house.
of the
So
germ. That's part of
I
the
agree,
game,
but
though.
to say that the talent issue, that's not, to me, that's a pretty bad to say they don't belong on the field. That's kind
So
of
the
weak.
offense. So there's talent on the offensive line right now.
I didn't say every position, Eric.
Well, we can keep going. Running backs. You think?
I think
Uh,
Tatum's good. I think he's going to be great.
Tatum is your best running back, and the guy can't pass protect, and the guy fumbles.
I
That's your
said
best
going
running
to be
back.
He's a true freshman. Hey, here, Eric, I agree with you on the fact that I think this year in the SEC and next year with their schedule, everything that was a weakness is very exposed. Okay, it is. And the fact that the Big 12 it didn't really prepare you for this league, in my opinion. I don't think it did. Now, I will say this: Brent Venables was right when he came in and said we got to get better up front defensively. They have up front defensively, but they haven't all over the field. I think he thought offensively, because of Lincoln, because of all this other stuff, they've been putting up all these points, that it would just translate right into the SEC, and it hasn't. And they got to get better all around on offense.
Using that same philosophy about the Big 12 not preparing them for the SEC. Explain Texas then. Same time frame. They both were notified at the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Texas has been down for years, and yet they're thriving right now.
Well,
I think
the number
Oklahoma
one thing,
has a bigger issue.
the number
than you
one thing I
realize.
would say to that, Eric, is they have two really good quarterbacks and they have a good coach. Makes a difference, bud.
Yeah, if you want to blame development,
that's all you think it is.
Development, I'm on board with you.
They're
Like Bobby said, Jaden Gibson had offers from every SEC school. A lot of the players that OU got, all the SEC schools wanted. I don't think that it's just talent.
Nobody's denying. Nobody's denying.
I don't care. I don't care about their high school rate. I don't care about their rankings coming out of high school.
You said they don't have talent. They don't have the same talent level. You said it.
Okay, but how does it translate to the college level is what I'm more concerned about.
That's a problem.
Okay, so I mean, you have problems all over the place then. DeMarco Murray's a problem. BB's a problem. Like everywhere you turn, there's a problem. And here's the thing. If I would have told you the beginning of the season, I would have flipped this and I would have said, hey, UW just went 14-0. They won the Pac-12 championship and was playing in the national championship, beat Texas for the second year in a row. But I think this year they're going to go 7-5. What would you have said?
I would have said they probably had a lot of seniors.
But you probably would have agreed with that. If I would have said, I think UW is going from 14-0 national championship contender to 6-6, maybe 7-5. You would have believed me, right?
Because they lost Kalen DeBoer, yes.
Okay. So
They
when I
lost
told you,
tons of players and went to a big time conference, yes.
but the irony is Oklahoma went to a big time conference and had a new offensive line, new quarterback, all these same issues that UW had, but you guys still had the audacity to say, we think 9-3,
It's
potential
not on.
And you
playoffs.
said 8
Eric,
and 4.
let
so
me
it's not
say
that
this
big
real
of a
quick.
deal.
You say audacity. OU
Yes.
look, I was wrong, Eric. I was wrong, but the fact is OU was 10-2
But you're still doing it again.
No,
You're
we're
talking
what am I
about
doing?
belt buckle. You're talking about belt buckle like he's gonna come over here and save Oklahoma.
Have
Who
you
you
listened
still
to
don't have
anything
a
I've said tonight?
I've listened
Jeremy
to
doesn't
everything.
like
You haven't heard anything
I
I've
know.
said.
You like Mullen and Mullen too. It
Jeez,
doesn't matter.
dude.
If Mullen
Hey,
comes,
if you want
you
to
don't
keep
have a
Joe John
quarterback.
Finley,
You
Eric,
don't
go
have
for it. I want to change.
I'm on record as saying I don't care who the next offensive coordinator is. It's not going to matter. You don't have a quarterback. This offensive line is not going to get fixed in 1 year. You still don't have elite wide receivers or an elite running back, and you're losing a lot on defense. This team is going 7-5 next year at best. So all of this belt buckle and Mullen and all this stuff that we're talking
How are
about
they going
every single
7-5?
night.
How are they going 7-5 if they don't have the
Because
talent to play in the SEC?
so you're saying that's too high? You're saying it should be
No,
lower?
your whole argument this whole time was that they don't have the talent. How are they going to get 7 wins in the SEC? Like in that
They might
schedule?
not. I said 7-5 at best. So it
Okay.
might be worse. You're right. It might be worse.
I mean, I'm just
7-5
saying that-
is
Hey,
at best.
I
They
agree
might
with
be.
listen.
Hey, at that
Jeremy,
point,
let me talk.
BB's got to be gone, but I'm not the one making the decisions. But I'm not going to
I'm
sit here and
just
say
saying.
that they're never
I'm just
going to
saying.
be able to match up against South
it's time
Carolina
to get a
and
little
Tennessee.
bit realistic. I know we all love Oklahoma. I think it's just a little. I think it's time to get a little bit realistic about expectations. This is an 8-win program moving forward. I think we're
Forever.
like now
Forever.
8, 9. Yeah.
But now it's 9. Which one is it? 8, 9,
I'm
7?
not talking
7,
about.
8,
I'm
9.
not talking about. I'm not talking about next year. I'm talking about 5 years down the road or whatever. 9 years will be considered a good year at Oklahoma. I think.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Never,
And
in my
last question.
opinion, will
Last
it be.
question,
Never.
Eric. I agree with you on they've had a horrible year. Maybe there's been a facade over the last few years because they haven't really done much. Even with
I agree
Lincoln,
with
the
that.
last few years they didn't make the playoff. So I agree with all that. Let me ask you this: next 10 years, does OU make a playoff ever?
10 years, yeah, they'll make a playoff.
Oh,
in
you
10
said
years.
they're
So they are.
done.
So they're not Nebraska.
In 10 years.
What you just said, they're done forever.
That's
They're an 18 program. That's all they are.
Okay. If you need me to expand and elaborate on that, they're not going to make any
No,
noise.
hey,
If they ever make the playoffs, they're one and done. Every time we've beaten an SEC team and we beat our chest, it's been Auburn, who was an 8-4 team. It's been Florida with their
Agreed.
third string.
Agreed.
And
They
every
haven't
time we had to
read.
play a big boy like Alabama or LSU or Georgia, and that was our best showing. We always get smashed. So
Hey,
OU LSU
let's-
national championship, they didn't get smashed with T1 Jones here. They
That was
yeah,
a long
and,
time ago.
and 2019 LSU, they're still scoring right now on us.
Yeah, that was
So,
a bad one, man. That was a bad one.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate the call, Eric.
All right.
Thanks,
Yep.
Eric.
Thanks,
I
guys.
agree with Eric on a lot of what he said about moving into the SEC and what OU. It's going to be I think it is going to be very difficult in 1 year to flip the script.
But I do think you can nowadays. You've seen teams do it, Jay.
Jerm, I agree with you. You can in the portal, but they haven't been great in the portal yet. That's my thing is, okay, they can. You've seen teams do it. I mean, look
Hey, all I
look at
know is my
Indiana
night was
did it.
made, Jay. Eric made my night. 1, for calling in, because I love it when he does. And 2, he's been saying Lincoln Riley is that guy, but he basically just bashed Lincoln Riley, said he couldn't coach offense anymore. I thought that was funny.
Hey, no, the schedule it flips as far as home games and road games, but it's the same schedule, and then they play Michigan.
The only comment I had that I had a problem with that from Eric was to say that OU does not belong on the field with South Carolina and Tennessee. The Tennessee game, OU absolutely belonged on the field with them. You can't have massive turnovers. It's horrible. The O-line was atrocious. The O-line didn't look like it belonged.
And I
But
think
across
what
the
Eric
board to say the team doesn't, I don't think so.
I think what Eric is probably trying to say is that OU is kind of going to be like Arkansas in the SEC. And here's what I would say to that.
They might be, Jay, for a couple of years. I don't know.
For a few years, but I don't think they're going to be that way forever. I think they're too, and I do think they're too storied of a program to stay down. That's just me. And I may be dead
I'm
wrong.
not told on history, though, Jay.
I may be dead wrong on that. Hey, let's get to Chester. What's
Oh,
up, Chester?
hey, how are you?
Good. You?
I was just curious if y'all read like I did that they don't want Craddock because Craddock wants to bring his own offensive line coach. Is that true?
I don't know what's true when people. I don't. Where do you see that? I mean, I haven't.
Where was that at?
I don't remember which pod it was, but I saw it somewhere. In the
And
same boat now, Fasusi is supposedly flipping. So what's the deal about bringing in his own offensive line coach?
I don't think it. Let's just say this: if they hire Arbuckle, Bill Beatonbo's staying. If they hire Arbuckle, now I don't
Jay,
know.
they
if they're
may
gonna
hire
hire Nolan.
someone to let Beatonbo stay. If Craddock says he's got to bring his own guy, BB might say, well, nope, we're keeping Bill Beatonbo. I don't know what they're doing, Jay.
I
I
don't either.
mean, that's what I'm getting at about. But like Eric just said, we're just not an elite program. I mean,
Well, they're not-
we
we're
are
not
not
bringing the best
program right now.
guy
I can agree
because it's
with
going to
that.
get rid
I
of
agree
this
with what
one
Eric said on
guy.
that.
I agree with you, Chester. Right
But
now,
Chester, the issue I have is, can OU be elite in the next couple of years? In the world of portal, NIL.
No, because we're still doing the good old boy system.
But can they if they made some changes?
Well,
One
you
of the
all know
changes is fire
my
BB.
take on Beatonbow. I want him gone. But what I'm getting at is if we're not going to bring one of the top guys that we were targeting because he wants to bring his own guys, that just says that the whole point is the good old boy system at OU.
Yeah, but
And
I don't
until
know.
that
I don't know
changes, we're
what's true
never
and
going to
what's
be
not.
good again. You
I
know, when
don't-
it changed last time was when they got rid of Blake's guys and brought in Stoops' guys.
I agree.
They haven't
That
done it
whole
since.
resume changed. They
Yeah,
changed the whole regime, and that helped. I agree with that.
exactly. So,
But they changed head coaches too, though. That's the difference.
yeah, they changed ADs too.
Yeah, they changed everything.
See what I'm getting at? Change the AD, change it all.
Well, it may have to be a wholesale change eventually.
Yeah, I was just curious
if
if
they don't
y'all
get it
had
together next year, it will be a wholesale change. I would agree with that.
It sounds like they're
what I'm
going all
getting
in.
at is if Mullen doesn't come, which where there's smoke, there's fire. But let's be real: if North Carolina opens up, he's going to take that job. So that
everyone
means
here said
Mullen's out, and now
I don't
Craddock
think
is out. So we have to settle for Arbuckle, right? So we're going to settle again.
That's what I said earlier.
Settling. I think it's settling. I agree.
Yeah. One other question. Am I getting feedback on your end again? I'm trying to fix this phone.
No, it's
you're
good tonight.
Well, sorry about that, and sorry for missing
you're
the show
good.
last night. I ain't been feeling well lately, but I was just wondering if somebody else had seen that. I forget which pod it was, but they said they're not going to bring Craddock because he wants to bring his own offensive line coach, and that just proves to me that we're never ever going to get over this good old boy system, and we're just not going to be what we all think we are. We're just never going to be it again.
We'll find out.
Anyways,
Chester. We'll find out.
Love you all. Boomer Sooner for life.
Hey, thanks for the call, Chester.
Before we get to Coconut Greg God, I've got to say, what makes you think the defense is going to be terrible next year? They've recruited really, really well on defense.
And I this question Mac asked, it has to be Dan Mullen. He had way more
better head coach than BB right now because he's done it longer and better.
Yeah, I don't know how you can. Who's getting triggered? I don't know who's getting triggered, Eric. I mean,
I may be saying in the chat. I don't know. I mean, I get triggered every night. So
hey, let's get to Greg.
What's up, Greg?
Hey, fellas, I'll echo Chester's sentiment. Boomer Sooner for life. But you'd kind of hit on it a little bit earlier there, Jay. But when Brett Venables came out and said, "Oh well, yeah, I talked to Mullen. I talked to him last year. It didn't work out." I don't know if he realizes it, but I feel like he lost a lot of credibility with that comment right there. Because if that's true, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If Dan Mullen was the guy last year, how do you go from maybe him being the A candidate to probably the Z candidate in Seth Littrell? What has to go wrong from we were highly considering Mullen to we're settling with Littrell? It seems like a huge comedy of errors had to have gone down.
Yes. Greg, I don't think there's any chance they went after Dan Mullen last year.
I'll say where I kind of thought this was going with this today. I kind of, this is once again, it's just my opinion. Okay.
You do have a certain set of skills, Jay.
Take it for what it is. But what I thought he was going with that was, I think they were hiring Dan Mullen, and I still think they might. Okay. And he's basically saying, I wanted him last year. We didn't get him, but now look, we're getting him. And I wanted him last year. I didn't want Seth. I think he's almost like, and that may be way off. I just get the feeling that's where it was going. I just find it hard to believe. And maybe he did ask Dan Mullen, hey, you want to come to be OC? How serious was it last year? And also, how do you go from that to literally, we put it in the chat. Jeff Levy left. 3 days later, Seth Luttrell was hired. They couldn't have done a whole lot of talking to many people.
Surely not. Now, but did Levy leaving couldn't have caught us that off guard? I mean, was the writing not on the wall for weeks? The whole thing with his dad on the sideline.
Yes, it was.
It was, and maybe that's what he's saying is during the year he mentioned it to Dan Mullen to see if he'd want to come be an OC. But I don't know. Here's another thing, Greg. If they did it last year, they wanted him. He's their guy they wanted. He said no or whatever. And you have a chance to get him this year, but now you're not because you don't want to pay up or you don't want to give him a head and coach in waiting. Like this would now be 2 years in a row. The guy you want, you're letting walk.
Well, is all that true? What we're hearing, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they come out and said that they're ready to pull out all the stops and spend the money they need. So if they're serious on that, I can't imagine they flipped on that just a week later or so, and now we're not willing to do what it takes to get this guy if we really want it. So that's the thing, though. I feel like the program contradicts itself in so many ways. Like the Joe will come out and say we're doing everything we can here. Like we're serious now. We're going to spend the money. We're going to do what we have to do. And then a week later, again, we don't know what's going on, but it acts like we're letting the number one guy walk. And I don't know. And I hate to say it, but like the more BV talks, to me, he loses credibility. Because now, granted, he's got so much going on with his life, like his wife's, illnesses, and the state of the program's dire right now. And, I feel like he's taking it serious, but the guy walks into every press conference now like death walked over him. And he's not, at least in me, instilling confidence that he is steering the ship right. I hope I'm wrong. I want him to succeed 100%, but I don't know. That's just the perception I have. Am I crazy? I don't know.
I think a lot of people feel the same way on when BV talks. It's that they've heard it enough. And again, it's kind of similar to the Soul Mission stuff. When you're losing, nothing looks good or sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
But I'll remain optimistic. Things can change quickly, but if it changes for the better quickly, I want it to be changes that are meaningful and we can really build a solid program on, because I don't want to have a flash in the pan year like TCU and what I'm thinking Indiana's doing right now. Like I want long-term success, and I'm hoping BV can be that guy. We'll see. Fingers crossed this OC is the dude and we're awesome. I'm just going to try my best to remain positive. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
Always see him.
The problem is
hey, Germ, the comment about the stats, you know what I texted you earlier about it. I asked Hunter. I was watching the press conference and I said, I can't do it with the stats. I mean, I almost got on here tonight and went over every YouTube video stat that we have as a kind of like a Saturday Night Live skit, because it does literally every stat is thrown out there for the first 10 minutes of the press conference. And that's, he's probably trying to throw positives out there, but the comment about turning it around and what Greg said, maybe they can. I think you can. There's got to be a lot of things changed. And you got to have to turn something around from a year that you're sitting at, maybe not going to bowl game, probably not. You have to have all the right pieces in place. And that's what you got to make sure you do. I don't know. Or do they? We'll see. Hey, we got KB on the line. What's up, KB Longhorn?
Hey, how y'all doing this evening?
Good. You?
I'm doing pretty good. I think what a lot of guys are trying to say, it's hard when your team ain't doing good. It's not easy to sort it all out. But as an outsider looking in, I think what a lot of people are trying to say is it just doesn't look like OU football the last 3 years going backwards as fast as it has.
Well,
So
last
that
year
leads
wasn't as bad.
leads to believe that. Well, what I'm saying is that leads to believe that it's not just the talent that's coming in. It's there's a bigger problem somewhere. Now it could be the OC, but it just doesn't look like it. You know, and I've said it before. Something internally is not right. Maybe it's Joe C. Maybe it's not one of them. They don't want to really spend the money. They say they do, but they don't. I just think it's something more of that line. You know, not wanting to get rid of BV.
It could be coaching. Yeah, I mean that's.
You know,
yeah.
It just doesn't look right for an OU team.
It doesn't. I agree with that.
Well, and if you could go back and look at Texas before they got Sarkisian, they had great recruiting classes every year, but they didn't have the right people in the facility coaching. And it showed dividends. They were having they lost to Kansas how many years? I mean, they were having atrocious years. And until they got Sarkisian there, it changed.
Oh, you're 100% right.
But when they had Tom Herman, they had great recruiting classes.
Yep.
When they had Strong, they had great recruiting classes.
And Sarkisian wasn't it early in his career coaching, Jay.
But you know what?
Year 3, you got it right.
But you know what the
I'm
difference
talking
there
about
was
his
about
first head
Sarkisian
coaching
coming
job.
in? That didn't happen until Del Conte came in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, they kept this same old, we're gonna Tom Herman looks good. He did great with Houston, and Charlie Strong, well, he's kicking it with Louisville. I mean, they didn't pay him as much as some of these bigger coaches. And then Del Conte came in here and said, "Get what you need."
Yeah.
And
The fact of the matter is, KB Longhorn,
everybody's got to be on board.
If Sark's first head coaching job would have been Texas, I'm not sure that would have been great. I
mean, I agree.
Washington, USC. The fact that BV's first coaching job was OU was probably not good. He should have learned somewhere else first.
Oh, I agree 100%. I don't think Sark would have been the coach he is now, just his first year at Texas. I mean, these big programs take somebody that can deal with these folks, all these high, profile recruits and the administration and the alumni, the donors and all that.
Yeah. It takes everybody to get involved and bought in. So
it really does.
Hey, thanks, KB.
Hey guys, y'all have a good night.
Hey, you too.
Hey, really quickly, I'm going to show this one in a minute because I'm going to go on a rant. But first, before I rant, check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com and sign up for this beauty of a shirt, Shirt of the Month Club. You won't want to miss it. It's a December shirt, but you've got to sign up by tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 20th. I think you got to sign up. Go on there tonight. Use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months, and you can sign a family member up for Christmas and send them a new shirt each and every month for the year. It would be a great Christmas gift, better than anything else I can think of. And if they're not an OU fan, find their team officially licensed on thefanstop.com. They got a whole slew of college football programs that you can check out and send to your loved ones at Christmas. Check it out real quick. Rant time. Danny, who's pretty negative, which is fine. He has the right to be. BV celebrated like a little girl after that fake punt. Listen right now, Danny. I don't give a rip about your comments. You're entitled to them. But to criticize a guy for being excited about getting a fake punt on the road at Missouri, you're ridiculous. You are flat out ridiculous. That's what you are. You're ridiculous to criticize a guy for celebrating for getting a fake punt. I'll say it. You're ridiculous. What's he supposed to do?
This all comes.
I did too.
Hey, this all comes down to a few things. They're losing games, Jerm. When you lose, all that stuff's going to be
but who's excited about losing?
Nobody.
People act like BB likes losing. He doesn't.
You know what I think's hilarious about all this is OU's about as bad as they can be. They still should have beat Missouri, which Missouri still ranked again. I still ranked. I just think you play that bad and you still could have won the game. I mean, I
want Danny to. What would you have done, Danny, as the head coach after you call a fake punt? It was a brilliant call, great fake punt, and they executed. I'm sorry that he's excited for the team that he coaches.
Hey, You know who a great coach is right now? Dillingham at Arizona State. Have you seen him on the sideline? Want to talk about excited like a little girl? He's all over the place over there. Nobody's bashing him. Why? They're winning. They're winning. It changes when you lose. Period.
Danny, if you would have had a normal face, then none of your players would even care. So,
yeah, I don't know why we're even talking about it. I love the fact that he gets him into the game. Now, you need to win games, though. That's all there is to it. I mean, you got to win games.
Hey, I don't hate the reality, Danny. Jeez, dude. You're hilarious. Hey, Dave McCook, thanks for the super. We appreciate it very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it, Dave. Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't see that, Jay.
What's that?
The comment about UCO president.
I didn't see it either. I didn't see it either. Hey, here's the thing, guys. Nobody knows what OU's good. I mean, there's people in here.
Isn't there a song titled "Nobody Knows"?
I don't know.
That should be the highlight. We should start this. We need to go back to Coconut Greg's rap and then go to "Nobody Knows" because.
Hey, based on the chat in here, I would say 80% in this chat would probably say OU's not going to have a good year next year, and they may be right. Now, the fact of the matter is, not one person here knows how good of a year they're going to have. I don't know. You don't know. They don't know. Who knows? Things have to change, though. Things have to change. They have to get the OC hire right. They have to pay big-time money in the portal. They have to pay big-time money in the portal. Have to.
Jay,
yeah.
What if I got an ironic turn of events? What if after LSU they do fire BV and Dan Mullen's the head coach? That'd be ironic.
It's not happening.
That'd be ironic.
Not happening.
I'm still shocked that people say OU didn't belong on the field with Tennessee.
What do you make of this? We haven't talked about this. What do you make of it? Jackson Arnold, he's now the captain. He's a captain this week. Hey, let's get to Sean. What's up, Sean?
Okay.
What's up, Sean?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sir.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. I think a lot of people are just kind of sounding defeated. It just goes with, with the territory. Yeah. And I think everyone's kind of taking it out on each other, but I am excited about the prospect of either Dan Mullen or Arbuckle coming to OU. I think it's a good thing, and I'm looking forward to it. But just can't come soon enough. I hope they announce something before we start, trying to get recruits in December.
Oh, yeah, it has to.
You have to, Sean.
Hey, Sean, if it's Dan Mullen, it has to be
next week,
within a week or so. If it's not, then if it's Arbuckle, it needs to be as soon as they play their last game. It needs to be announced.
Yeah.
Before anything. I mean, you got the portal opens December 9th. You got signing day on December 4th. It has to be done like December 1st.
Gotcha. And as far as Fasusi, I'm wondering if he's going and visiting Texas and A&M just to kind of get more money out of us.
Well,
look,
hey,
I think
if you're
he's trying to get more money.
If you're a 5-star offensive lineman, you'd kind of be silly not to try to get more money, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, I am a morals guy or whatever, but I don't know if my son was a big time player, I might be like, man, if you go here, you might get more money. I mean, go visit. I don't know how I would react, but I'm just saying, you got parents involved, you got kids. And the truth is, he was still going to be playing football. They lost last week in the playoff. They lost. He has nothing. He probably is like, I can go watch him and I can maybe get people up on their hands and they're worried sick. I'm going to go to Texas or Texas A&M. Ooh, they might drop me more money. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a real thing.
Yeah. And one last comment is, or question, I guess, is what do you guys think the likelihood is that if it's Arbuckle, we get that quarterback from Washington State?
I think it would be over 50%.
I think it's a high chance of that. Now, here's what I'll say. He's a good player, and I think it would help because he knows the offense. Now, he's a sophomore, if I'm correct. I think he's a sophomore this year. I think you bring him in which I think they will if that's what they do. But what you're losing Arnold probably. What do you do to Hawkins? What do you do to Spear? I mean, you got a lot.
I don't know who you're losing, Jay.
Well, I think you're losing Arnold personally, but that's just my opinion. But I think he would come. I think he would come, Sean.
They got to get a quarterback out of the portal regardless.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, thanks. I always enjoy 9:30 on each night. So
hey, thanks for the call, Sean. Thanks for calling in. Hey, Germ, I was wanting to get to a.
Before you do, I feel like another rant's coming.
Well, I want to say this, and first, great guy. Here's what I'll say to this. If you heard him today, what he said is not wrong. He was 100% correct on this. When he was asked about Fasusi, he said, well, I would say if you're going to visit other schools, you're not really committed. Is that wrong? Or do you guys think he's still committed? I mean, I think he's right in that. Now, he didn't say that he's not coming to OU and OU's not recruiting him. He's just saying he's still looking around. But yeah, we want him, and I don't think he was wrong in that. Now, the policy, I think BB's backed off his policy a little bit.
But he did say he's not committed then.
He said he's not committed.
Yeah.
What's he going to say? Well, Jeremy, let me ask you this. Do you think he's committed if he's going to go visit Texas?
No.
I think he's weighing options, seeing if he can get more money.
Get more money.
Now, where's he going to end up? I think he's going to end up at OU, personally. I do. I think he's going to end up at OU. I'm not that worried about it. And I don't go to bed worried about it. That's what I love. I don't.
Hey, Fanstop says, can Arnold go to a better school? No, if Arnold leaves, he's not going to go to a better. I don't think he's going to get picked up by a better school. So he'd be better off staying if he could maybe win a job.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ole Miss came after Arnold.
Hey, I've got to say something to one person and one person only.
Lane Kiffin loved him out of high school.
Sooner WX. Yep, I'm calling you out, Sooner WX. Every comment you make has my name in it. Every single one. You say, Germ said this. Germ says this. Germ doesn't think this. Germ doesn't think this. Germ. What does Sooner WX think? What do you think, Sooner WX? I'm here for it. I want to know what you think. I already know what I think. I know I'm wrong sometimes. I'm right sometimes. But guess what? What do you think, Sooner WX? Let me hear it.
Well,
let's get to Jackson.
Hey, go ahead, Jackson. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Jeremy, get him, dude. Jeremy, don't let him attack you, man.
I don't care. I just want to know what he thinks. I already know what I think.
What do you think, Jackson? Give us your opinion. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I just
joined what other people said. What's on your mind?
But I was just gonna say, I don't know if you guys have been made aware. I've seen this on Twitter, but apparently, Ben Arbuckle started following some OU commits in the 2025 class.
I've seen the Kevin Sperry stuff. I guess.
Yes, it was Kevin Sperry. I think that
you said some guys. Give me some list of guys. How many guys?
Give me some more names.
Okay, Kevin Sperry there.
Oh, is it a coincidence?
Listen. Look, I do think there will be more in the coming days.
Okay, but Jackson, the guys in OC that everyone's talking about, wouldn't you follow as many high school quarterbacks that are 4 or 5 stars as you could?
Well, no, because not someone that's committed to OU at a place like Washington State.
I don't like the hire of Arbuckle.
Hey, Jackson, let me ask you.
Why, Jackson. Jeremy, why don't you like the hire of Arbuckle?
Okay, I'll tell you again, Jackson. Why? And I know I'm opposite of you and Jackson.
I haven't been on the live, Jeremy, so I don't know your opinion.
I'm going to tell you why. He's coached as OC at Washington State since 2023. He was a quarterback coach at Western Kentucky, co-OC, and before that, he was a quality control analyst at Houston Baptist. Okay. And hey, by the way, Jackson, this is called the Sooner Surge.
Hold on, Jeremy.
This isn't
Jeremy. I have an argument to counter this. Go look at Lincoln Riley's track record before he came.
I was getting ready to say that, Jackson. He could be the next. He could be the next Lincoln Riley who came from East Carolina. I 100% agree with that. But I also, I don't know, man.
And I agree.
Well, okay, look. Well,
it's risky for BB.
If Mullen, which more than likely he is not the guy at this point, all signs point towards Arbuckle.
What do you mean all signs?
What is all signs?
You're like some of the viewers on here say, Mullen's out!
All signs because of the Twitter follow. That's what I'm gonna base.
Okay, let me ask you this, Jackson, real quick. Answer this question. If you get this question right, you can stay on it a little longer. Hunter, if he gets this question wrong, hang him up. Okay, you got it?
Okay.
Was Arbuckle following Sperry before today? How do you know? Have you been on his Twitter?
No, I've not been on his Twitter.
Okay. See you, Jackson.
He answered it, Jay.
But he doesn't even know if he followed him last week. How do you know he hasn't been following him for 10 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
Jackson.
Now Jackson can get on and say,
Jackson's been all about Dan Mullen, as have you and I.
Jerem, wait. If Jackson can he's still on here. If he can get back on here, if Hunter wants to unmute him, if he can get back on here and say he knows that Arbuckle was not following till today, that's fine. But I don't believe that. So
Gray God says, why is he
there's
following
Jackson? Jackson's back. Jackson's back.
What was it that you asked? I'm sorry.
And Michael, by the way, says Sperry followed him.
All right, so maybe that's a sign.
Sperry might be wanting to go to Washington State and be a quarterback.
Jackson, do you like Arbuckle?
Yes.
More than Mullen?
No.
Dan Mullen's a home run hire. What's Arbuckle? I got
a good hire.
He's a bloop
not
single.
Home run hire.
He's
the second best guy that you can get realistically.
Jay, what about answer this question? I want everyone in the chat to say it. If Mullen is a home run hire, what's Arbuckle? I said a bloop single.
Joe says a bunt.
I would go with he's a ground rule double.
Jay, what about you?
I would probably say double.
You guys are higher.
Hey, real quick, let me say something. I like Arbuckle a lot. I have concerns about what?
Hit by pitch.
I have concerns about Arbuckle, and they are these: air raid.
Based on balls.
That's one concern. Based on balls. The other one is this. He's so young. He hasn't done it in a big-time conference. That's everything against what I loved about Mullen. Did it in the SEC. I felt like he'll run different offense if he wants to run multiple. He can run power quarterback. He can run spread, whatever. So, but if you're going to give me Arbuckle or Craddock, I'm taking Arbuckle every day of the week.
I agree, Jay. Yeah,
and that's just me. I know a lot of people disagree, but here's a great question. Here's a great question, and I think it's a fair question, guys. Everybody's, including me, I like Arbuckle. You're the University of Oklahoma. You're going to get Arbuckle when the guy that taught him everything he knows is only at Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Why can't you get Kitley at OU?
Exactly.
Who taught him everything he knew? And what's Kitley's age? About 36?
I'm confused on why Kitley's not in the running.
He's at Texas Tech.
Well, you want to know? I think Brent Venables, he might be taking the approach. I'm sure you guys have heard. I don't know if you guys have heard.
I called this, by the way.
That Stoops said, where he sat down and looked at the top offenses in college football, and he went and called up names. This was a story from Bob Stoops on the ref, and that's how he made his decision. Now, I don't know if Brent Venables is doing that exact same thing, but Washington State is one of the best offenses in the country.
Jerem, what did I say 3 nights ago on the live?
You did. Hey, Jay, we got another caller on.
Hey, thanks,
you guys.
Hey, and before we get to Danny, I just got to commend Sooner WX. Sooner WX has a comment, and my name's not in it, so I got to show it. Is there any other home run hire other than – I would say – I would change yours. I would take the conjunction and the last proper noun out. Is there any other home run hire other than Mullen?
We're not here for an English class. Jeez,
Let's get to Danny. What's up, Danny?
You're on, Danny.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to get a 29-year-old named Arbuckle to save BB. BB in our program.
I don't know if
I'm not in love with it, Danny.
Did we know who he was 2 months ago?
No, because he just started being an OC.
Well, no.
So that's the answer. He's not. It's not an option. If
I
that happens,
tell you why people like him, and I'm not. This is not me because I'm not high on him like Jay is. They want to compare him to Lincoln Riley. How old was Lincoln Riley when he came to OU?
32.
Low 30s. Yeah, I don't know.
Right, and he was at East Carolina. That's what they're wanting to do.
I think Lincoln was even more proven than this guy. I mean, but this is not going to work. SEC second year, BV's struggling as hard as he can. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
And
We're finished.
Here's the reason it won't work like Lincoln Riley did. The offense that they had when Riley stepped on campus were all NFL guys, every one of them. They're playing right now.
Ryan, yeah.
They're all playing in the league.
And they're all doing pretty well in the league.
We had 2 Heisman caliber running backs with Lincoln. I mean,
yeah,
playing at the same time. I mean, Mixon was like a hybrid running back / receiver who could have won Heisman at both positions. I mean, we're not getting that again right now at all.
I don't love the Arbuckle. So who's your guy, Danny?
The same as you guys, Dan Mullen, but I don't know. I all these rumors, I have no idea.
Hey, Danny, here's where I'm disappointed if it doesn't happen with the Dan Mullen stuff, and you probably agree. A week ago, quote, everyone meaning all those who are inside, said OU's going all in for BV in 2025. But then throw everything you got at Dan Mullen. It's that simple. You don't let him say no.
You guys are saying the standard hasn't been lowered, but we're letting a guy. So people are saying that he's walking because we didn't give him head coach in waiting. I mean, what is this?
That's crazy if that's what it is.
We got knows. OU has become a country club. That's what we are right now. Josie is comfortable with his guys. It's going good. Their pockets are fat. It doesn't. BV made Jackson Arnold a captain this week. I mean, that's got to be a troll.
I think that's all. But you know what I think that is? That's all with him trying to say we want you here.
That's unbelievable. That's crazy.
Yeah. Hey,
but have a good night, guys.
That's thanks for calling in, Danny. Appreciate it, Jerm. As we close tonight, Jerm, I'll say this. I mean, a few nights ago, I did say that if Brent Venables follows the hiring procedures and the trends,
you said this, Jay,
that Bob Stoops did after he fired Josh Heupel, he went and got, Josh Heupel was an OU guy, fired Seth Luttrell, he went and got the youngest up-and-comer guy, and it looks like that's what they're going to do if people are saying Arbuckle. I'm still a believer. I think Mullen's got a chance here. So I'm not.
Jay, you still really love Arbuckle, correct?
I like Arbuckle. Yeah.
Jay,
now he's not in the same.
I'm going to do something for everyone. I'm going to go watch. I'm going to go watch Arbuckle's offense, and I'll get back with you tomorrow. I don't care what anyone else says. I'm going to go watch for myself, okay, and see what I like about their offense. I'll get back with you. Hey, Rich, and I know what you're saying. You said someone's annoying, but Danny did call in. I thought it is a good call too.
I did too. Hey, last call of the night.
Fanstop says, would Mullen's ego let him be an OC? I think it would, but
yeah. Hey, last call of the night is Okie Lawn Guy, and then we got to get to the Thunder Live next. So, what's up, Okie? You there?
Oh, yeah. My bad. I don't think anybody knows who this guy's going to be, but
I don't either.
I do kind of feel the sense of that we are once again going to just settle for a particular guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the big problem I have, I do like Arbuckle, but I think the issue I have is Brent Venables today said he went after Mullen last year. And it sounds like, now who knows if this is true, it sounds like this year they were going all in on him into the fact where they've been talking to him and maybe getting close to maybe having something done. And then you're going to fizzle that out and go down to Arbuckle, which I like Arbuckle, but I just think it's such a big difference.
You're right.
What about the guy from oh, sorry, Jay, what were you going to, or Jerry, what were you going to say?
Bring up the other guy and then I'll say it.
I was going to say, what about the guy from Tulane?
Craddock. Yeah, I mean, Craddock would. People are talking about Mateer coming with Arbuckle. Craddock has Mensa. So
yeah.
I'm not sure. I like Craddock. But
who's more proven, Craddock
or
Arbuckle?
Would I like Craddock or Arbuckle?
Yeah.
I don't want to answer till I go watch. I have not watched any Washington State, so
I don't like Craddock because he's a Chad Morris guy, so I don't like him.
And he's a Clint. He has ties to BV. That's why I haven't really wanted him.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, from Clemson.
days.
Oh,
That's why I
Clemson.
haven't
Oh,
really wanted
okay.
that. Hey, but I'll say this, Okie guy, whether it's Craddock, Arbuckle, any other name, even Brendan Marion, any name that's not Dan Mullen, I think the question is, are they settling? And I don't know that you'll know the answer until next year when they're on campus and see what the offense looks like. It may be elite, but it's hard to think that when we haven't seen any of those in the SEC. The only guy who's been in the SEC is Dan Mullen.
Well,
out of these guys, correct.
Out of these guys,
well,
he's only been in the SEC.
Lincoln Riley hadn't been in the Big 12 though, and he did just fine.
Yeah, but the Big 12 didn't play defense.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
And he did fine. He did fine then, but he's not doing as fine now because that team he stepped on campus with in Norman, they're all in the league. Look at how many guys are in the league.
And that's fair by FanStop too. Hey, thanks for the call, Okie. Appreciate it, bud. And that's fair by FanStop. I mean, the thing is, I think if he took the job, he'd be hungry enough. I think if he decided
just
to do
call
it.
plays, just call plays, call plays, call plays.
It's been a wild night.
Hey, check out the FanStop. Hunter, drop the shirt again on here because you got to get off the live tonight and go straight to the fanstop.com and sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. That December shirt is unbelievable. Look at it right there. It's beautiful. You can watch Hallmark movies in that. Since OU won't be in a bowl game, you can watch your favorite Hallmark movie in that OU gear and celebrate that way. But check it out. If you're not an OU fan and you want to buy your friend, family, whoever, something, see what other universities they have officially licensed, because they're all officially licensed at thefanstop.com. Hey, listen, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Thanks for the callers. Thanks to the supers by Dave McCook. Thanks to everyone that's a part of this channel. We appreciate you very much. Tomorrow is the deadline to receive that shirt right there. So don't wait. Get on tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night for another great lively chat here at the Sooner Surge.